$35 in his pocket. No home, no food. Just a beat-up car, parked behind gas stations and hotel parking lots. That's where Steve Harvey was living, long before the world ever knew his name. But here's what makes his story different. He didn't let that be the end. He made it his beginning. In the early 1990s, Steve Harvey made a decision that would change everything. He quit his stable job in pursuit of a dream almost no one believed in: becoming a stand-up comedian. At first, the gigs were few and far between. Sometimes months would go by without a single booking. He was broke, sleeping in his 1976 Ford Tempo, driving from city to city chasing opportunities that rarely came. He couldn't afford hotels. He'd wash up in public bathrooms before shows, trying to look presentable while hiding the fact that he was homeless. Some nights he didn't even eat. He called his parents one night, ashamed to admit he was living in his car. His dad asked him, "Do you believe in what you're doing?" Steve said yes. His dad replied, "Then keep going." Most people quit at rock bottom. But Steve? He made it his foundation. There was a moment when Steve thought it was over. He was down to $35. He'd been turned down, laughed at, ignored. He considered giving up completely. And then, like a plot twist in a movie, it happened. He returned to a friend's house and checked his old answering machine. There was a message. Someone from Showtime at the Apollo wanted him to perform in just a few days. But he didn't even have enough gas money to get there. So what did he do? He hustled. He performed local gigs that weekend, scraped together enough for a bus ticket, and made it to the Apollo stage. That night, Steve Harvey delivered a performance so powerful, so electric, the crowd gave him a standing ovation. That one show changed the trajectory of his entire life. After that breakthrough, more opportunities followed: comedy shows, hosting gigs, and eventually his own TV show. But success didn't come all at once. Steve still had to grind. He was driving himself to gigs, sleeping in budget motels, sometimes still wondering if it would all fall apart. But there was one thing he never gave up on: belief. Not in luck, but in faith, preparation, and persistence. He wrote down his dreams. He visualized success long before it arrived. Every step forward, he carried the lessons from those nights in his car. Steve credits his transformation to one thing above all: faith. He says, "You gotta jump. If you don't jump, your parachute will never open." He believes our dreams are whispers from God, and if we ignore them, we silence our purpose. He also teaches about the power of vision boards, writing the life you want and speaking it into existence. Years before it happened, he wrote down that he'd own land, run his own show, and become a millionaire. Today, Steve Harvey is not just a comedian. He's a best-selling author, a talk show host, a game show icon, a businessman, a mentor, a legacy. Steve Harvey's story isn't about luck or timing. It's about commitment. It's about having the courage to believe in your dream when no one else does. It's about betting on yourself when the odds say not to. He always says, "Your career is what you're paid for. Your calling is what you're made for." So the next time you feel stuck, lost, or too far behind, think about that car. That 1976 Ford Tempo. That man with a dream and $35. And remind yourself, it's never too late to start building your legacy. This is Legacy Files, where real stories meet real transformation. Subscribe for weekly motivation, mindset shifts, and powerful lessons from those who rose from nothing. Because your story isn't over. It's just getting started.